Good morning, Kevin here. Well, today I'd like to show you how to turn an ordinary loaf of basic white bread into this absolutely gorgeous cinnamon swirl raisin bread. Here's the recipe. So we've made this white bread before, but I'll do it again for you very quickly. So you start with 1/3 cup of warm water and add 2 1/4 teaspoons of either active dry or instant yeast. Then add 1 1/2 tablespoons of regular granulated sugar and give it a quick stir. Yeah, when you use instant yeast, you do not have to proof it. Actually, you don't have to proof active dry yeast either, if you know the yeast is good. Then add 1 cup of warm milk. That's around 105 to 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Also add 1 1/2 teaspoons of salt. And the salt will not kill the yeast, that's a myth. And add 1 1/2 tablespoons of either softened butter or vegetable shortening. And I'm using vegetable shortening. Quick stir. Then gradually add 3 1/2 cups of either all-purpose or bread flour. I'm out of bread flour, so I'm using all-purpose flour today. Stir, and I always stir in the same direction because supposedly stirring that way helps the strands of gluten to develop. A little more. And what we're doing is just creating a shaggy dough. And then, final addition, stir. Yeah, my recipe for basic white bread has, I think, about 56,000 views here on YouTube. So apparently that was a very good video, and I hand kneaded the bread in that video, and a lot of people commented and said the kneading section, which is long, was very helpful. Yeah, you really don't need a bread machine or any special mixing gadgets to make great bread. Grabbing a knife here so I can scrape off the sticky dough. All right. And then drop the dough onto a non-floured work surface. We are not going to be adding any extra flour to this dough. And then cover the dough with a cloth while you clean out and dry the mixing bowl. We'll be right back. Okay, here's my washed out and dried mixing bowl, and I'm going to grease it with just a little vegetable spray. Set this aside, and then I am going to knead this dough by hand, and this is always my great dilemma, is whether I should show you how to knead the dough by hand, but I already did that in several bread recipes, including the recipe for this basic white bread. So I'll just get it started and then I'll come back later. Okay, so to start the dough, here's a little tip. The dough's going to be pretty sticky, so just give one hand, your right hand, if you're right-handed, a little shot of vegetable spray, and then grab your bench scraper. Just form the dough into a rough ball. Here's the sprayed hand, and the dough won't stick. And when you knead dough, what you do is fold the dough over on itself and then push out with the heel of your hand. And then I'm going to knead this dough until it is smooth and elastic. And that's going to take, probably 8 to 10 minutes. So again, I will come back. And I should mention that if you wish to make this dough in a stand mixer outfitted with a dough hook, do the same thing. Just knead it until it's smooth and elastic. In a standing mixer, that will take, probably 7 or 8 minutes. Okay, we'll come back when the dough is fully kneaded. Okay, I've been kneading this dough for about 4 minutes. And again, I did not add any additional flour. Adding extra flour just toughens the dough. Gives you a very tough, dry bread. Now, the dough feels good. It's not at all sticky, but it hasn't been kneaded enough. And the way you can tell that it's not been kneaded enough is if you pull out a little section and it tears easily. See that? So I have to knead for about 4 more minutes. So we'll be back. Actually, maybe you can keep me company while I finish kneading the dough. I wanted to tell you that the temperature today, what's today? January 30th. The temperature outside is about 17 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's really cold and it's windy. And I heard on the news that the wind chill is well below zero. It's like 4 degrees below zero. So we're cold here. So today is a great day for bread baking. And this bread, of course, is going to have the cinnamon, which in aromatherapy, cinnamon is a very warming scent. Okay, let's do another pull test. Turn the camera this way. Yep, we're good. It stretches and it doesn't tear. So, here's my bowl. Again, I sprayed this with a tiny amount of vegetable spray. You could use canola oil or vegetable shortening to grease your bowl if you don't like to use vegetable spray. It goes, flip it over to grease the other side, and then cover the bowl with plastic wrap or cling film, and then put this in a warm location until the dough doubles in volume. And that's going to take, probably 90 minutes. So we'll come back. Okay, while the dough is on its first rise, I wanted to talk with you about the raisins. You'll need roughly 3/4 of a cup of raisins, and I am using this brand, which we can find in any supermarket here in the United States. Now, I know that a lot of recipes will tell you to soak the raisins in hot water, and I have tried that, and I have to confess, I can't stand the taste of soaked raisins. I mean, yes, the raisins plump up, but they also lose their flavor, and they have just this weird texture that I don't like. So if you want to soak your raisins, go ahead, but I'm going to call this a no-soak cinnamon swirl raisin bread. Okay, we'll be back. All right, the dough has doubled in volume. So now, here's the fun part. Punch, deflate the dough. And then drop it onto your work surface. And again, no extra flour. Do not flour your board. And I'm going to turn my board this way because I want to roll this out into a 9 by 18-inch rectangle. Yeah, the dough's not sticking at all. Okay. Roll. And the dough rolls very, very easily. And we're looking to make this dough the same width, 9 inches, as the bread pan. Again, it's a 9 by 5-inch bread pan. We go out a little this way and a little this way. And you don't have to make a perfect rectangle. Just do your best. Now I know some people, when they make raisin bread, they like to smear softened butter over the dough and then sprinkle on cinnamon and sugar, but I don't do that because, well, that's like making cinnamon rolls. And I already have a fabulous recipe for cinnamon rolls, and I want this bread, well, to taste like bread. So there's sugar in it, but it's certainly not a sweet bread. Okay, yeah, we're at 9 inches. Okay, then sprinkle on the cinnamon. I'm going to use roughly a tablespoon of cinnamon. And the more cinnamon you use, the darker the swirls will be in the finished loaf. Okay. Yeah, it's about a tablespoon. Might be a little more. Might be a little less. You just want a good coating of cinnamon. Then the sugar, and I'm going to use about a tablespoon of sugar. Sprinkle that on. Maybe I'll move you in a little closer. Yeah, this is a great bread all on its own. It's also uber delicious when toasted and buttered. So it's a good bread for a cold winter morning. It's also a good bread to serve with afternoon tea. Okay, then we need the raisins. Now, I don't soak the raisins first because I really can't stand the taste of soaked raisins. And you just want to sprinkle these. If any of them are stuck together, just pull them apart. And I am using just regular old sun-made raisins. 3/4 of a cup. Forgot to tell you that. You just want to sprinkle them as evenly as you can. I just found a little clump over here. Yeah, so just pry the raisins apart. If you have the patience of a saint, you could do each raisin one at a time and arrange them very evenly. Mine are even enough, I think. Okay, then move you over here. Starting at the short end, roll the dough as tightly as possible. Yeah, rolling this way is going to give you very nice swirls of cinnamon when you slice into the bread. And then when you get to the end, pinch the seam to seal it. Yeah, I made this bread with soaked raisins one time, and although none of the raisins stuck together, I just didn't like the taste of it. And then when I sliced into the bread, a lot of the raisins fell out. So this is a no-soak cinnamon swirl raisin bread. Okay, and then bread pan. Grease it lightly, and then drop it same side down into the loaf pan. Let's straighten mine out a little, but don't pat it down. And then cover it loosely. Actually, before you cover it with cling film, give it a little spritz of vegetable spray so that the cling film will not stick to the dough as the dough rises. Okay, and then this goes into a warmish location until it rises just, maybe a 1/4 inch above the rim of the pan. And that's going to take 30 to 45 minutes. All right, the loaf has definitely doubled in volume. So I'm going to put this in the preheated 425-degree oven until the top has browned attractively. That will take 25 to 30 minutes. See you then. And here's the loaf, fresh out of the oven. It's brown and beautiful, and it really smells wonderful. I'm going to unmold it, flip it over, and just for fun, I'm going to brush the top with some melted butter. Yum. Look at this thing. Really beautiful. Unfortunately, we cannot cut into it until it has cooled to room temperature, so I'll come back in about 30 minutes or so. Okay, I'm sorry, but I just can't wait to cut into this. It's still, it's definitely still warm. Now, if you let the bread cool completely to room temperature, as I did this loaf, which I made yesterday, it will slice very easily and very thinly. So I'm going to swap one loaf for another. And then, get ready. Let's see what this baby looks like. Ah, it looks gorgeous. Check it out. This beautiful swirl, because I used a lot of cinnamon. And you can see the raisins studded in the studs of raisins in the bread. Delicious. Yeah, even this heel is moist. And that cinnamon aroma, out of this world. So I hope you'll give this cinnamon swirl raisin bread a try someday. Again, it's not a sweet bread. It's savory enough to enjoy any time of the day. And I will post the list of ingredients in the description box below. And then in a few days, I'll post the printable recipe over on my website, and I'll post that link below as well. So thank you for watching. I'm going to eat some more of this bread, heaven help me. Please post a comment below, because I do read all of your comments and I do love hearing from you. Okay, again, thanks for watching. I'll see you soon with another recipe. Bye-bye.